All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Um, Hold on a second while I try to set everything up. I'm streaming on Facebook and also on Instagram. This is Coffee Talk, and we had a little bit of a snafu with the guest. And so it's just me today. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I thought I would just have a quick coffee talk chat about awareness and having ease with awareness. There's so many things going on in the world, so much upset and angst and change that it's really uncomfortable for some people. Well, for probably many, many people. As well, we're starting to head into the holidays. Yay! So there's that too. And so I thought it would be a good time to share some of the Access Consciousness tools for having ease with awareness. So, first of all, the very, very number one thing is to try to recall anytime you feeling something weird, stressed out, thinking, spiraling thoughts, to just ask yourself, is this mine? Is this mine? Or is it someone else's? Or is it something else? Because many of our thoughts, many of the things that we feel with our bodies, many of the emotions that we're aware of are not ours. We're like this big satellite dish, and we pick up all these channels. And the funny thing is, because we've learned that we need to help others and it's better to do for others than do for ourselves, we're so outwardly focused that that's what we're aware of. We never turn to the channel of us. How often do you turn to the channel of you and like be aware of you and how you are in an event or in a situation? Not that often, but we can do it. We can. It just takes a little switch, a little changing of the channel, so to speak. So whenever something comes up, no matter when it is, like this morning at about 4:30 a.m., I woke up and I had all this stuff going on in my head. And normally I don't have anything in my head. So that's my number one cue. Like, what is this awareness? Is this mine? Someone else's? Something else? And just knowing that it's not yours and you don't have to necessarily do anything about it can give you a bit of ease. And then there's further questions that you can ask. But just recognizing it's not you. If you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about all kinds of stuff, like you were asleep, it's not yours. And so, therefore, even in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, what if none of the thoughts that are in your head when you wake up are actually yours? And you can just change the channel and be like, wow, who am I today? And what adventures can I have? What would I like to create? Where can I put my energy? What can I move forward? What creations am I working on that I could move forward today? Yeah, it's a totally different thing. It's being in action instead of reaction. But recognizing that everything that you're aware of is like this amazing capacity that you have. So instead of trying to turn that off or turn it down or being annoyed by it, because, a lot of stuff that you don't have to deal with could seem annoying. But what if it wasn't? What if this was your superpower and you could actually use this to your advantage if you were to be in the question, how can I use this to my advantage? How can I use this awareness to my advantage? And you don't have to like mentally figure that out. That's the beautiful thing about awareness. It's not about thinking. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to figure it out. By asking the question, other awareness will come in. So another thing about having ease with your awareness is recognizing that you can ask a question and that other awareness will come in. So what kinds of things have you been struggling with or chewing on that you would like to change, but because you're like dealing with it as a problem and trying to figure it out, it doesn't change because we're not asking a question. So I'm going to use the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement for anything that brought up. Let's destroy and uncreate all of that. And everywhere we decided we had to figure it out, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Yeah. It's funny. I think a lot of people think they have to have a lot going on in their head to accomplish anything. But I've found that the less you have going on in your head, the more quickly you can create and do all kinds of things with nothing in your head. You can be so clear. You can get so many things done so quickly. Maybe you can see in the background, I'm a jeweler and I had a show yesterday, so I have all my displays up. And often people ask me, how long does it take you to make this? How long did it take? And I just don't have an answer. I mean, I could say my whole life, because I've been doing this almost my whole life. But really, for me, when I'm making things, time disappears. I don't time it. How many of you actually time what you do? Do you time how long it took you to read a book? Do you time how long it took you to create a class or your website or whatever it is that you do? I don't do that. For me, when I'm creating, for me, it is creation and play. And I don't even look at the clock. There's just space and there's energies, and all of the energies of all of the stones are all talking and playing and like, ooh, I want to be with this person. No, I don't want to be with that one. I want to be with the other one. And so I'm like, it's almost like playing with kittens. I'm like doing 10, 12 different pieces all at the same time and creating and recreating and uncreating and then recreating until it feels like this harmonious energy with the piece. So time disappears in that. There is no time. And it's funny too, all the awareness of all the angst and all the everything else in the world also disappears. Maybe that's why I love doing art and creation so much, because like all of that, it's like I can actually be present with the channel of me and what I'm creating. So what is it that you do that's natural for you to be present with what you're doing more than being present with the world and the angst and the upset and everything that's going on. And everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, to know, to receive, and to be that more with everything in your life, so that you can have ease in all areas of your life. Will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Yeah. If any of you guys have questions or comments, you can go ahead and pop it in the chat. I've got Facebook going and Instagram. I'm becoming a real techno wizard without really knowing exactly what I'm doing, but hopefully it's working. Somebody else had written a comment saying they wanted to hear about abundance today. Now, it's funny. Abundance is a funny word because it's like a lot of something. And how many of you have abundance of drama, abundance of worry, abundance of angst, but you don't have the abundance that you're looking for, which is the abundance of money, probably is what they were asking for. But like, when we don't acknowledge the abundance that we do have, we can't have it in the other areas. So getting very clear on what it is that you're asking for and what is showing up, and acknowledging that allows you to actualize more of what you would like. We have this funny thing of wanting to not look at what is, so that we can be in some story or fantasy of what we'd like something to be, but not actually creating it. It's an interesting dynamic, because when you actually look at whatever, look at your bank account, look at your bill. You know how people are like, oh, I don't want to look at my bills. Look at them. Because as soon as you look at it, you're acknowledging what is, and then you can change it. You can take steps. You can ask questions. You can be different energies to have it show up different. Nothing ever changes by hiding from it, by stuffing it in the back of the closet. And it's the same thing for relationships, like not dealing with an issue, whether it's at work and it's your boss. Sorry, my nose is running. Or, a customer or client, or your spouse, or a child. Like, the issues that you have don't go away by not dealing with it. It actually festers, and it usually gets worse. So what would it be like to, with kindness for you and for whoever else is involved, to look at what is, to acknowledge it, and without going into wrongness, judgment, just being in the question of, how can this change? What else is possible? What could we be or do different that would work for all of us, without needing to have the answer, but asking the questions so that the awareness can show up? And acknowledging, wow, this isn't working. But it doesn't mean this isn't working, I quit, I'm out of here. It's, this isn't working. What else can we do? What else can we be? What else can we choose? What can we change? And would it actually create more to be out of there? Or would it create more to continue choosing in a similar direction? And what if neither was right and neither was wrong? That's that's the place of true question. It's like there's so many things that we've decided are wrong and you must avoid at all costs. And then there are things that are right and that you trying to get those right. And that puts so much pressure on yourself. It doesn't work. So what else can you choose? And how aware are you of the pressure that is put on you or that you put on yourself? Let's just ask right now, which is greater, the pressure that other people put on you, those expectations and projections, or the ones that you put on yourself? Which is it for you? And just get your own awareness with that. And if you'd like to change it, everything that is, everywhere you have decided that you must give in to external projections and expectations, or even of your own projections or expectations of yourself, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Yeah, you say what you put on yourself. I know, it's funny. We're so mean to ourselves. Oh my gosh. We are so mean. What would it be like to be kind to you? So yesterday at my jewelry sale, I had a bunch of ladies come in, and it was interesting how they were different than the ladies at this pop-up show I did a couple days prior. Those people were out in a store shopping for gifts for other people. Or I don't know, maybe they were also getting things for themselves, but they, the ones in the store where I was in this pop-up store were absolutely like, I can't do anything for myself. They were like so mean to themselves. And the ladies here were like, I shouldn't get anything for myself, but this piece feels so good and it makes me so happy. And it just like brings out this joy and smile and sparkle. So they like honored their bodies, which is awesome. And, had something on sale. So how does it get better? But how often are we judging ourselves, not giving ourselves space, the movement, the food that our bodies would like, the gentleness, the kindness, and the non-judgment? What would it take to just stop that internal critic? Actually, I think I'm going to do a video series on stopping the internal critic. That just reminded me. Anyway, what if we were to be as kind to us as we would like to be kind to other people or to our pet? How about that? Because if we treated our pet the way we treat ourselves, the pet would run away. So, isn't it time to start including you in the kindness that you have for others? Everything that doesn't allow that, even when you're not thinking about it, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Anybody have any questions? Let's see, what else can I tell you about awareness? Well, the idea that awareness is bad and that we don't want it and we're like trying to run away from it? What if we recognize that awareness was awesome? Like totally flipped it around. Oh my gosh, awareness is so awesome. And how can we have it add to the ease in our life? It's interesting how awareness shows up. I mean, it can be thoughts in your head, but it can also be feelings in your body, and feelings meaning aches, pains, all kinds of things like that. Recently, there's been a lot of earthquake activity, even here in California, where I am, but all over the world. And many, many years ago, when I started Access, I started noticing that I'd get this certain tightness in my abdomen, like right under my rib cage, this like total contraction of the muscle that I absolutely had no control over, and it would just go and then stop. And thanks to Access and asking questions, I was able to ask questions about what it is. And it was awareness of some of the earthquake activity, believe it or not, all over the world. And so Gary helped me by having me ask my body, like, is this future? Is this past? You know, where in the world is this? Northern hemisphere, southern, things like that, just to get an awareness of what was going on. And recently I've had a bunch of this interesting contraction. And so when I feel that and I ask the question, what is this? Is this awareness? What do I do with it? Can I change it? If so, how do I change it? The 4 questions that you learn in the foundation class. I started feeling that and asking the questions and then doing the 1, 2, 3s and giving that energy to the earth. And it would go away. Like the tightness will go away faster. And I'd also just have an awareness of like, this is like an hour before or 3 hours before an earthquake. And I have this app on my phone, and sure enough, there would be a little thing go off and it would show me where the earthquake was. And recently I did have an awareness that in doing this and actually contributing the energy to the earth and knowing that I was contributing energy to the earth and that it actually does something, I got the awareness that the severity of the earthquake in this area was lessened. So it didn't cause as much damage. And that's a pretty cool thing to acknowledge in yourself. So what contribution can you be to the earth when you've got aches and pains in your body? If you ask the questions and do the 1, 2, 3s and give that energy to the earth, what contribution are you and can you be? And what can you change with that ease? Like, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. It takes a few seconds, but it's really knowing and acknowledging just for you, not telling anybody else. It doesn't really matter. And I'm only sharing it as an example so that you know that you can do it. You can be it. And many years ago, I was in a class with Dr. Dane, actually here in San Francisco. And I asked a question because I had a headache for like 2 days, and it was the second day of class, and I had my bars run several times, and I had done other body processes, and it just wasn't going away. And he asked me, so is it yours, someone else, or something else? And I was like, something else. It's the earth. I know, I got that too. And I did the 1, 2, 3s, but nothing changed. And so we all did it together in the class, and it changed. And my headache immediately went away. And I said, why is it that when you do it with me, it changes. But when I did it myself, it didn't. And he's like yelling at me. He's like, because I know that I'm actually contributing to the earth and you don't. You think you're just. So you have to really know for yourself that you're an energetic being and you actually matter. Like really, each and every single one of you matter. And you can create a change way beyond anything you think. Just think of like a time that you got really pissed off and like this energy came up in you. Like you have that available all the time. And can you access it and use it where it's required? And do you know that you can contribute to the earth to change what's going on? Do you know what you're capable of? Let's find out. Yeah, awareness is super cool. So, sorry, nose is running. So, what are you capable of, and what is your awareness trying to show you that you've never even considered? And everything that doesn't allow that to be revealed, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poads, and beyonds. Awareness is so cool. I've always thought it was cool, but like it's more and more and more and more and more. Like you think you've got it figured out, but there's always more. Yeah. Like back when I was younger in college and stuff, I used to try to be psychic. I mean, I guess I just was. But like if somebody was calling, I would be like, oh, that's so and so. And I'd always know who it was because I could tap into the energy and know. And actually, I would know before the phone rang. And I'd be like, oh, I have to go home because my mom's going to call. And I'd walk in the door and the phone would ring. It would be my mom. So I've always had this ability, and you probably have too. It's just a matter of playing with it. And I just played with it so that it would grow. But what else? What else can you do to play with your awareness so that it'll grow, so that you can create all kinds of cool stuff that you never knew you were capable of? This is my question for you. And what if awareness is a gift? And what if you could really train yourself to be in question about it, not conclusion, not running away from it, but like, wow, how can I use this? How can I use this? It is a gift. So this brings us to the end of the coffee talk. Thanks everybody for joining. Later on today, in a few hours, I have a Zoom call called Knowing When It's Over. This pertains to relationships, but also all kinds of things like changing jobs, moving, friendships, all kinds of stuff. Knowing when it's over. So a little further dive into the conversation of awareness and getting more clarity about what you can choose, what your awareness is showing you, what your knowing can show you. So if you'd like to join, you can click the link in my bio. And I think it's also on Facebook. I'll post it in the notes. So love to have you. And anybody who is actually going through relationship issues, this would be very helpful for them as well. So please share it with anybody you know who's got that trauma, drama, upset of, oh my God, what am I going to do with my relationship? Should I stay? Should I go? Thanks everybody for joining, and I will see you next time.